Chief Justice Maya under fire over Kill the Boer controversy. Chief Justice Maya under fire over Kill the Boer controversy. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Jones, Wina TV. Please subscribe. South Africa's newly appointed the Chief Justice Mandisa Maya is facing a wave of public criticism and political backlash following resurfaced comments and court rulings that appeared to downplay concerns surrounding the controversial struggle chant, "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer." The chant, which originates from anti-apartheid struggle songs, has long been the subject of heated national debate, while some view it as a historical expression of resistance. Others, particularly members of farming communities and civil rights groups, argue that it incites violence and hatred, especially in the context of ongoing farm attacks in the country. Justice Maya's stance came under scrutiny after she reportedly found nothing wrong with the chant during her judicial tenure, aligning with previous rulings that interpreted the phrase within the context of political expression rather than a literal call to violence. Critics now question whether her interpretation reflects a failure to acknowledge the pain and fear experienced by victims of farm violence, particularly in a country still grappling with its racially divided past and present. The backlash intensified following her swearing in as the country's first female Chief Justice, with various organizations questioning her ability to uphold impartial justice for all communities. AfriForum, a prominent civil rights group, said in a statement, "It is deeply concerning that the Chief Justice of the Republic sees no harm in a chant that has been associated with trauma and bloodshed. Farmers are being targeted and killed. How can such language be not seen as dangerous?" Political parties such as the Freedom Front Plus and Democratic Alliance have also weighed in, calling for clarity on the judiciary's position regarding hate speech and freedom of expression. This is not about limiting free speech. It's about recognizing the real-life consequences of what people say, especially when leaders or institutions normalize inciting rhetoric, said the FF Plus leader Peter Groenewald. However, Maya's defenders argue that her stance is rooted in constitutional law, emphasizing the difference between symbolic political speech and actual criminal incitement. Legal experts note that South Africa's Constitutional Court has previously ruled that the chant, when used in specific historical contexts, does not automatically constitute hate speech. Professor Thandeka Ndlovu, a legal scholar from the University of Pretoria, said, "It's important to understand the nuance here. The courts are walking a fine line between protecting freedom of expression and preventing hate speech. Justice Maya's interpretations are consistent with prior legal precedent, whether we agree with them or not." Still, the controversy raises broader questions about South Africa's reconciliation process, rural safety, and the role of the judiciary in shaping national healing as farm matters continue and racial tensions simmer. Public confidence in judicial leadership may hinge on how the Chief Justice and her peers address perceptions of justice, fairness, and empathy for all South Africans, regardless of race or background. For now, Justice Maya remains silent on the recent uproar, but the debate around Kill the Boer and what it represents shows no signs of fading. Someone commented and said, I am a vendor man. Hearing a song saying kill the vendor will be so painful. And the person singing, it is my enemy number one to me. My offspring is vendor too. So you will kill us. Guys, killing is not a funny thing. Another one commented and said, we were all equally taken aback by the judgment. We thought the chanter of the slogan would be reprimanded, but instead was praised by the Concord. Another one commented and said, it is because of that song that there have been so many farm murders. Another one commented and said, she will be quiet as she knows what's right and wrong, now being questioned about this, and the whole world sees how our system runs. Another one commented and said, today we are jokes around the world because we allow lawlessness to run our lives. Being a South African was of great value. Now it will be difficult to visit the world because we will be discriminated against. This is so bad. Another one commented and said, Professor, that is hate speech. What if we chanted with words like that and changed the boer into another word, firing it at the black people? We would all be arrested and serve jail time. So don't come with it not being hate speech coming from a professor. It's unbelievable. Another one commented and said, I feel that thing song, and if taken literally, that does incite violence against white farmers. It was a song from the apartheid era and has no place in democratic country. We are 31 years into democracy and there is no place for this song. Another one commented and said, if this chant of killing anyone is not hate speech, then we are in addition subject to judicial tyranny. Another one commented and said, this woman is not objective in her work. She only works with the rebellions and support black folks with wrong behaviors and wrongdoings and promote the evildoers in their horrific deeds. Another one commented and said, you must really be thick of you can't see that singing a hate speech song is causing our farmers to be murdered. Another one commented and said, I'm not a lawyer or advocate, but immediately you realize that a certain group of people are not happy about the song and their cry match to the killings. Why you insist on saying that there is nothing wrong in singing? Julius was singing because the Chief Justice agreed to the song. Another one commented and said, how stupid and out of political and human touch can she be? Another one commented and said, as black people we don't like being called the K word, but we don't see anything wrong when Malema keeps on singing this song. This song should be banned for good. This is not right at all. Another one commented and said, that judge will answer to God one day for promoting hate speech. Another one commented and said, why sing it? It's out. We a country without EFF. Their thinking is 30 years backward. Another one commented and said, if you go ahead by singing this song, which means you don't want to grow and you don't want peace and you are not a good leader. Another one commented and said, Victor, we are not saying it's a Malema's song. All we are saying is it no longer relevant? Another one commented and said, the world knows we are fools. Another one commented and said, big brain, that's why you are raw, because you think you know better than anyone else. Look at your statement. I'm sure it will take 3 pages altogether. Another one commented and said, the song will be relevant as long the farmer oppressors still own more land than the former oppressed and the ANC government failed to address it. What are you happy for? Just to vote? Another one commented and said, I don't believe you are vendor. Vendor people knows exactly where the song originates. It is an outcry for justice. on land distribution and equality. Another one commented and said, expect no mercy from the victims of rape, torture and killings by these Boers, not unless you are part of the plot vendor collaborator. The last one commented and said, that nonsense now, because it's against white people, must be stopped. We also black people don't like many judgment in our country. They going to be strong. I and many accepted some judgment like citizens who have other citizens and also ours. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Jones, Whyna TV. Please subscribe. Bye for now till we meet again next time. Subscribe. So please, it's your time to engage and speak something positive going forward. Thank you very much. Subscribe. Bye for now till we meet again next time. My name is Dr. Jones, Motsonga wa Xiviri wo Malipopo.